Hey fashionistas and istos, welcome to The Frugal Fashionist. My name is Lexi Clock and I'm here to spill my sustainable style secrets. Here at The Frugal Fashionist, you'll get all the best fashion talk, tips, and tricks. Welcome back, fashion friends, and if you're new here, welcome again to The Frugal Fashionist. In our last episode, I had the pleasure of speaking with Miss Sarah Monticelli, one of my good friends and fellow fashionistas. And in case you missed it, I'll give you a quick rundown. Before I got into my conversation with Sarah, I briefly spoke on the purpose of the series. And as I said, I want to inspire and inform fellow fashion enthusiasts. The climate and economic crises caused by fast fashion habits are soon to be irreversible. However, with this show, I plan to shed light on truly simple and effective ways to reduce those harmful effects. Together, Sarah and I discussed a number of new habits like secondhand shopping, DIY projects, and overall more mindful shopping. Sarah's dedication and passion for fashion is one of the reasons I had her on my very first episode of the show. Aside from sewing for herself, she's a part of Brookdale College's fashion club, where she and other fashionistas alike design upcycled projects. Ergo, not only is sustainable fashion environment friendly, but it can also be so fun and truly rewarding. On that note, today's episode is all about the pros of sustainable fashion. And no, this will not be a total slander of brand companies, but cons will be mentioned. We will explore the cost, psychological, and quality benefits of sustainable brands and shopping. So let's get to it. Regarding the cost benefits of sustainable shopping, I'll admit they can be a little unclear. By this, I mean a lot of popular brands that are trying to go green and promote sustainable pieces do so in the worst possible way. Big brands like Levi's, Adidas, and Free People aim to be a part of the smart shopping crowd, but with those prices, they remain out of reach to many. But it's a good thing that secondhand stores exist. Believe it or not, you could find trends in thrift stores faster than you see them on TikTok. And here's why. A little tidbit about fast fashion is that it doesn't just sell fast, but it goes out of style even faster. Ergo, and that's my word of the month by the way, ergo. When fast shoppers are done with that super cute shirt that just isn't trending anymore, hopefully they'll do right and donate it. Now, since you are the smart shopper, you just found a practically brand new shirt that you can style your own way for half the price. When someone asks what my favorite store is, I really don't know what else to say other than Goodwill. And this is mainly because I can barely remember the last time I bought from a brand store. I have found the most wonderful pieces, including name brands, and never spent more than $20 on one item. I found my favorite purse, a vintage Juicy Couture, the most perfect fitting jeans, and endless graphic tees that you just can't find in store racks. As someone who really loves to shop, and a proud embracer of retail therapy, thrifting is also an easy way to satisfy that urge without constantly breaking my bank. Aside from personal cost benefits, there is a national benefit to shopping secondhand. Collectively, Americans spend over $1 trillion every year on things that you can easily buy secondhand. Things like clothes, furniture, and even kids' toys in some cases can be found at a fraction of the cost and more often than not, in perfectly acceptable condition. And if you are one of those people who are just convinced that spending an extra couple of dollars on a brand name item doesn't make much of a difference, I can confidently say that you are wrong. According to publishers at Thrift World magazine, secondhand shoppers happen to save an approximate $150 a month. That adds to around $1,700 saved in one whole year. So, If you aren't already shopping in thrift stores, consignment shops, or at the Goodwill bins, get to it. 'Cause trust me when I say that you will be saving yourself a lot more than money when you shop secondhand. Not only is secondhand shopping cost efficient, but believe it or not, most of the supply in secondhand stores are actually of higher quality than most modern apparel. I say this because one of my favorite clothing brands is Urban Outfitters, and as of recently, I am really disappointed. I can't even begin to list the number of shirts that came with pills and pulls and even holes. Overpriced and underworked pieces are what I feel I see when I open up the shop's website. However, that's something I could never say about secondhand shops for a number of reasons. The first reason I say this is because no matter what secondhand shop you go to, the selection will always be different. Not only are they different from store to store, but from piece to piece. You can find quality denim in the form of jeans, jackets, or skirts. You can even find an 80s print top with sparkles and diamonds and a plain white blazer without going down another aisle. And as I said before, all of these amazing finds are more so crafted at a higher quality than one may think. Most clothing that ends up in secondhand stores are gently used pieces that are simply not of someone's interest anymore. I believe that there is a common misconception that donated clothes are worn out and raggedy. But why would you want someone else to wear your dirty clothes? The answer is, you wouldn't. And neither do the sellers at secondhand shops. Therefore, as I was saying, it is quite easy to find quality pieces while shopping secondhand. With higher quality clothes comes a longer wear time. So, that cute wool sweater that you've thrifted for just $7 will last you many more winters than that cropped and ribbed sweater from the new winter collection. And for extra crafty fashionistas, if you find something in Goodwill and it's just not your style, but you love that pattern or that color, use that fabric and rework it. As the quality of secondhand clothes are often impeccable, so is the fabric. So if you simply take out a few stitches and the hem, you have yourself a fabric square of some sorts and can start anew. I like to say that secondhand stores are like the inspiration units for DIY projects, and they never ever disappoint. I know that I can confidently say that every secondhand purchase I have ever made is still standing and still in style, at least for myself. From little kitten heels to elaborate and funky earrings, every item bought from secondhand stores have not only lasted through my wear and tear, but through someone else's, and that shows true quality. And in spite of all of this amazingness, there's still one satisfactory aspect of secondhand shopping that does not go unnoticed. That being the psychological factor of shopping secondhand. Really, the only reason I'm using the umbrella term psychological is for lack of better word to describe the feeling of finding the perfect piece in the thrift. Something truly magical overcomes my being when I find the most absolutely drop-dead, amazing, perfectly fitting item from Goodwill. Now, this feeling is nothing compared to the love for shopping I previously mentioned. Because what I mean by this is I really do love to shop, but what I love even more is to find. Going back to Thrift World magazine, it is said that one of, if not the largest appeal to secondhand shopping, is the thrill of the hunt. The thrill of thrifting can come from a number of different places. I know for myself that there is more than one reason I absolutely love to buy secondhand. The first would be, as I previously mentioned, the cost benefits. As a shopaholic, I love to buy clothes and other little knickknacks, and when I shop secondhand, I can satisfy that urge without overspending. Another obvious reason that I feel thrifting is good for my psyche is the environmental model that most secondhand stores follow. Reduce, reuse, and recycle is the motto that a lot of secondhand stores follow, as their supplies is constructed of entirely donated clothes and items. Now, this reason is a little less obvious and more specific to Goodwill stores, as they are working on a project bigger than helping the environment. On their main webpage, you will find that Goodwill is an establishment that works towards enhancing employment opportunities for those with disadvantages and disabilities. Now, this is something truly beautiful and nearly unique from other department stores and even some secondhand stores. Now, not to be selfish, but I really think that the biggest reason I personally love to thrift is more fashion forward. And that is the ability to create a unique and intimate wardrobe. Something that everyone I know knows about me is that I have a slight, and when I say slight, I actually mean crippling individuality complex. And I don't classify myself as a trendsetter, but I am definitely not a follower. Shopping in secondhand stores typically solidifies this complex of mine, as the clothes could be older than me. And as I said before, when I find rare or just perfectly me pieces in secondhand shops, something just comes over me. It's a feeling that I couldn't describe other than pure giddy, like a kid in a candy store. And when the clothes fit, it's really just incomparable to buying anew. You just don't get that same excitement when you go to a store and you see like the perfect shirt, but then behind it you see 10 more of it. Don't you want it to be yours? I know when I shop, that's how I shop, which may be a little toxic, but I just feel that you can find so many personal items while secondhand shopping that like you feel like it's yours and no one else has it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, those are all the reasons why thrifting is good for my mind and well-being, or more so why I love it so much. I hope that you guys can relate to what I'm saying, as secondhand shopping is much more than just buying. You make a conscious choice to shop secondhand, and sometimes it's not easy, but that makes it all the more worth it. And not for nothing, I know that everyone can agree that the cost benefits are quite appealing. Now, moving on for myself, I'm here with roomie and friend, Miss Willow Giacovini.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me, Lexi.
Of course, I'm so happy to have you here, Willow. Now Willow is an athlete and fellow artist, and she endorses in secondhand shopping, mainly finding affordable workout gear and inspirations for thrift flips like Sarah and I talked about on our last episode. Now, before we get started, Willow, let me give you a brief rundown of the episode so far. So we talked about all the pros of secondhand shopping, including cost benefits, quality benefits, and benefits regarding the psyche and one's well-being. Now let me ask you, what kind of benefits do you find while secondhand shopping?
Well, I definitely agree with the cost benefit, but I like the originality of all the clothes that I can find in a secondhand store and the ability to give something a new life and repurpose it.
I love that.
I also just like the idea of sustainability in a time where fast fashion is such a big issue.
Yes, yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I love that, Willow. I also know that you like to sew, so have you or how have you personalized some thrifted pieces?
Well, I've definitely used sewing to make things fit better, which is really handy.
Yes.
But I also really enjoy using embroidery and scrap fabrics to kind of make my own design for blander pieces that I find.
Love that. Well, Willow, that was beautifully put, and I thank you so much for joining us here at the Frugal Fashionist.
Thank you so much for having me, Lexia. I loved getting to talk about fashion with you.
I did too. Well, everyone, that just about wraps up today's episode on the pros of thrifting. Join me, Lexi Clark, again next week here at the Frugal Fashionist.